There we go. I'm live and nationwide now. All right. So welcome. I'm Reverend Steve Van Meter, your senior minister. Like if there was another minister. I don't know why they do that. Maybe that's right. We'll hold that space for an assistant minister. Well, our theme this month is spiritual living through creativity. And my talk this morning is Spark, from nothing to insight. Wow, interesting. How can we go from nothing to insight? But that's kind of how it happens. You know, all of a sudden we just have this situation where we didn't know, and we decide we want to know, and then something happens. We all allow the ongoing activity of spirit into our hearts, minds, and activities to bring forth new forms and expressions, to inspire and guide us. We have to be open to something new. If we think we know it all, then there's no teaching us anything new. So I already know that, and we shut down. The minute that we become as a child again and go, you know, I'm going to suspend my belief or disbelief and be open to what is shown to me, we're open to something new. Not only human beings, but everything in nature is endowed with the creative urge. It's impossible to escape this creative urge. From Creative Mind and Success by Ernest Holmes, he wrote, "Put your mind in touch with universal mind, saying just what you are wanting for, and ask for it, believing that you are receiving it, and wait. After a few minutes, declare that you now know, even though you may not seem to know, yet in the depths of consciousness, you have received the impression." We must impress upon our mind that there is a way, or we will demonstrate by not demonstrating. It's done unto us as we believe, and if we believe we can, we will. But if we believe we can't, everything in the universe will show up to show us that we can't, because that's the way the law works. It always shows us what we believe. On Science of Mind, page 83, Holmes wrote, "Creation does not mean making something out of nothing. Creation is the passing of spirit into form, and it is eternally going on. Spirit cannot change, for being all, there is nothing for it to change into. This is self-evident." We don't create something out of nothing. We really recycle things into what we want in the universe. You know, if you think you want something that's physical, like a house, it's probably already out there waiting for you. Or the elements of the house you want to build are already out there. We just have to pull them together in the right place at the right time, and we call it a creation. There is a creative spark within each of us. It is that spark that created us, and it is the spark of spirit itself. That spark is always available. We have to choose to use it, and it is waiting for our recognition of it, to call upon it. It's waiting in silent repose. Ours is to call upon it, to activate it. So how do we do that? How do we activate that creative idea? Well, usually we have a need, right? We have something that we need or we choose to have in our lives. And that creates a vacuum. And we start firing rockets of desire that we would like to have something happen or something be different. And that creates that vacuum where something needs to fill that vacuum. And if we just hang around and say, just fill me with whatever's hanging around, the universe will always say, yes, let me just fill it with whatever's hanging around. It's like pulling up to, you know, you're going to build a house and you pull up with an empty truck to Office or Home Depot and you go, just give me what you got. Just fill it up. You know, they're going to fill it up with whatever's left over from other people's projects probably. But if you have a list and a blueprint and you say, this is the foundation I'm building, Are you going to build it with straw? Are you going to build it with cement? What is going to be the foundation of what you're building? So, have you ever felt exhausted and then a good friend calls and invites you to do something that you really love to do? Recalling the surge of energy that fills you at that moment. That's one of those from nothing to something experiences where you go, all of a sudden I have the urge to go and do that. I know I wanted to take a nap, but that sounds really fun. I want to go play frisbee golf or whatever it is. Or have you ever worked on creating something and completely lost track of time as though time were limitless? Where you got online and all of a sudden it was like another day. You're like, wait, what just happened? I was just surfing the internet, or I was finding out something, and time just, because there is no measured time. Time is a man-made or a human-made thing. It's so that we could know what time lunch is, what I think. So that we could have lunch together. But the infinite, it takes as long as it takes to do something. And if you don't finish it then, it will complete itself at some point. And we're never done, right? You're never finished. You go, oh, I finished that. No, projects just evolve. And they recreate themselves into different things. Spiritual energy is infinite, and its tendency is to be expressed. Life is forever creative and forever creating. Meister Eckhart said that God is at home. It's we who have gone out for a walk. Wow. God is at home. Who left? You ever feel like that? Like God wasn't in your life? Well, God's always there. It's always happening. It's like if I was to ask you to stop thinking, just stop thinking, you can't do it. Because you're thinking about not thinking right now. It's just while we're conscious and we're awake, alert, and aware, we will be thinking. So are we thinking about what we choose to have, or are we in the challenge of why it's not happening? And it's not to judge, it's just to see where we are in consciousness. If we're part of the solution, we're in the creation process. And if we're part of the challenge, we're in the creation of destruction challenge, right? Because we're always creating, but are we creating positively? So the creative spark, which is available to everyone equally, cannot be put out. It may seem dimmed at times, and yet it is always available. God is all creative, and we are made of that same creative source. We are part of God's expression. You're actually a dream that the infinite had. So how's your dream doing? How creative are you making this thing called life? Well, we're going to do it a little experiential. And in your paperwork I handed out today, I gave everybody a piece of tinfoil. So I'd like you to pull that piece of tinfoil out. And before you do anything with it, I'd like you to look at it. So does everybody have a piece of tinfoil? Because I've got extras up here if you don't. Here we go. Could you hand some of those out? Anybody up here? Let's tinfoil. Everybody over here good? We got more back. We got more coming to you. So look at your piece of tinfoil. Oh, here. I've got plenty more. There we go. That's okay. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I want to make sure everybody's got one. I've done this before. This is actually an experiential that we do in our foundations class. But I'm going to do it a little different today. So take a look at your piece of tinfoil and imagine that this is your life. How are the edges? Are they perfectly straight? Do you have a crooked edge? Does yours have some marring to it? Is yours even square? Now, this is how life is. We don't have the capacity to decide what we get. To some degree, we do. To some degree, we do. But we all have a piece of we all have life. If you didn't have life, you would not be in this room. Guaranteed. So, you can do whatever you want with this piece of tinfoil, can't you? You can leave it and it just be a square piece of tin foil. But I want you to take a second and create it into something. Okay? Just make it into something simple, something quick. We're just going to take a couple minutes and fold it or manipulate it into something. And if you can't think of anything, make it into a ball. So, you are right now in the midst of being creative. If you know it or not, if you like it or not, if it works for you or not, you are in creation. And we're always in creation, forming our lives into something. How are we doing? Do you guys need a little more time? Okay, so has anybody got something? Okay, what do we got? Let's hear from just a couple people. Oh, we got a lot of little airplanes. A flower, great. Well, hold on. You're going to need those pieces of tinfoil, so get them back. Get them back. If you threw yours into a ball, get it back. So, look at what you did. A butterfly. But we have as many. Even if you made the same thing as somebody else, it's different than theirs. It's different. If it's a ball, it's not the same size ball because it wasn't the same size tinfoil. It couldn't have been. Right? So, you have now made something out of what was just a piece of tinfoil. Nothing. You've made your life into something. A flower, a butterfly, a ball, an airplane. So now, I want you to recreate your tinfoil into something new. Yes, you're going to recycle your tinfoil into something else. Yeah, over there. Go ahead. She got it back. So, take your tinfoil, alter your original creative genius, and make it into something else. Now, this is how life is. We are constantly making something out of nothing into something and then recreating it into something new. Isn't this how life kind of works? Think about it. We are actually, see, what I didn't want all the kids to have all the fun. Because some of the experientials we give the kids are like so much better than this. I want to be over there. I want to be over there for part of the day. I really do. Because some of the experientials we have for kids coming up are so incredible. I mean, can you imagine making your own land? You know? What does Steve Land look like? You know, instead of Disneyland? Or, you know, what a great way to get kids to be thinking creatively. What if you had this teaching when you were in kindergarten? Could you imagine that someone told you, you can do whatever you want to do. As long as it doesn't hurt you or anybody else, you can do whatever you want to do. And we weren't always told that. Okay, so you can keep your piece of tinfoil, or you can recycle it, because we do recycle here. So now you can put your pieces of tinfoil wherever you'd like so that we can focus again. I knew it was going to be hard getting everybody back after I gave you the tinfoil. You can. You can do it as many times as you like. So, what did you make? And what are you reforming your life into right now? Because we're always changing. We're never stagnant. Rekindling the spark to be creative is our natural state. Start by not being afraid when creativity is called for. The spark is always there. You can always make something out of nothing. And you've done this when you needed to buy a car. You got to choose what it was or what color. You got to choose where you live, usually. There's a lot to all of that. So there is still a spark. You just can't see it, feel it, or touch it. Let the ebb work for you and not against you. It is all part of the law of the rhythm. Even in winter, growth, life, and creativity is happening within the earth. It just looks and feels differently. When we see that there's snow covering the ground, we think there's nothing going on, but there's something happening in the dormant, under the ground. There's activity happening. Life just doesn't stop. Society has made us believe that something is not creative or beautiful unless it is recognized. This makes no sense when you create something. So do it because you personally find fulfillment with it, not because anybody else does. This is for you. Your creativity is yours. And if you choose to share it, that's your business. If you like to dance, then dance. Don't worry if you'll be recognized for it. Put your beliefs aside. Your beliefs make you closed, because when you believe something, you don't accept new perspectives and ideas. We need to keep ourselves open at the top. Be open to the experience you're having. Anytime you can become a creative and have a creative experience, if you bring enough awareness and love to it, you will. Transcend your thinking mind. Your knowledge binds us to seeing the world to what we know. Pretend you don't know. Act like it's your first time, your first experience with something, and it will refresh your consciousness. When you're creating something, don't judge it. How many of us created something and judged it that it wasn't as good as somebody else's? That it was, oh, this isn't, look at theirs. But you did your own creation. That's yours. Stand up for it and say, you know what? That's a mess. That's my mess. Nobody could do it like I could. Nobody could mess that up like I could. Right? Because when you claim it, you get to recycle it. If you're always saying, oh, nope, that's not mine, that's their mess, you lose control of fixing it. When you claim it as your mess, look at that mess. Beautiful. I'm going to get double prints of that, get t-shirts made, because that was my mess. But then you can make it better. You can make it better. But if we don't claim responsibility, we're always waiting for someone else to come in and fix it. And what if they don't? Because it's not their mess. We have to take responsibility, the ability to respond and clean up our mess and make it the most beautiful thing in the world, even if nobody else sees it that way. It's your mess. Love it, and it won't be a mess. It will be a beautiful work of art, even if it's a macaron unicorn or something, right? So, have you ever had writer's block? Or that block, that creative block where you were expected to make something or do something, and you came right up to the time that it was due, and you're like, I just can't think of anything. I just can't do it. And it happens, right? We get upset with ourselves, you know. We wait till the last minute, and then we expect a miracle, don't we? That's just how we humans roll sometimes, you know? It's best to start early so that if you mess it up, you can clean it up before it's due, right? My dad taught me that one. Best-selling writer Anne Lamott expertly captured this idea in a story from her childhood. Her brother was assigned a school report about birds, but he waited to start until the night before it was due. He was in tears, overwhelmed by the task ahead, until his father gave him some wise advice. Bird by bird, buddy. Just take it bird by bird. We can only do one thing at a time, one day at a time. So in conclusion, Spirit is always calling forth our creative expression. It's who and what we are. You got to choose what you wore today, most of us. You get to choose your own favorite color, or several. Only we can dim the spark of spirit and creativity. Only we can choose not to be creative. When the ebb occurs, there are always ways to rekindle the spark and to return to our natural creative self by building our creative confidence one step at a time and being the spark we seek to see in the world. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all playing along with me today. So we're going to go into a spiritual mind treatment and pray. So just close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or take a soft focus on the candles or the flowers or whatever takes you deeper. Let's just go there now and remember who we are. So I invite you to bring to mind whatever you believe the creative energy of the universe is for you. I believe that there is a power that is beating our heart and breathing our body. It is sending all the right molecules in our bloodstream to all the right places for healing all the time. If we know we're feeling well or not, we know that our body knows how to take care of itself. We allow it to do that. And that same power is the creative genius of the universe that each one of us is. I know that each one of us is a divine spark of the creative genius of the universe, and each one of us has the ability to know, to love, and to create. I speak a word of love, knowing that whatever our life may look like, whatever is happening right now, I invite that creative wisdom right into those situations. Speak a word of prayer for anyone, anywhere who has asked for prayer, be it written or typed, or perhaps in the subconscious regions of our mind where we said, help me, please, God. Come forward in this moment. For it is out of that sense of desperation, knowing that there is a way, that way is shown, that the connection is made, that the energy of life can surge right in and be the love in every situation. For truly, if we ever feel something is missing, when we look for the love, when we look for truth, we never have to look far. For love is who and what we are. So I bless this day. I bless each individual with that creative genius that they are, that their next greatest yet to be is happening right now. That whatever is going on in their life, I may not know, but I know that the infinite knows. I know God is right in the heart and center of it. And calling that forth, I know that a miracle is happening right now. So I claim those miracles and say, yes, absolutely. And I'm grateful. I am thankful for all the blessings, all the miracles, all the love that there is. So I let go. I let go with love, placing these words directly into the law of mind where they are acknowledged and reciprocated in a way that makes sense to us, each individually and collectively, that allow a divine demonstration to be as our lives. So I let go and I let God be God in my life. Knowing this is so, together we affirm by saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you.